Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I am a network engineer / web designer.
Ooh, lots of things, and together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yeah, where we are bold and never, ever bitter.
And tonight we're talking about by what or by whom are you being held hostage? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it.
Well, talking about being held hostage.
You have been held hostage for a very long time and
Yeah.
recently have started to break free, right?
I broke free. I broke free from my hostage takers. But yeah, it's true. I went through
This is good.
I went through a long time of being held hostage by so many things. But probably the biggest thing was work and what I was doing.
You would tell me on multiple occasions, I know that I'm doing what I'm not supposed to be doing.
Exactly. I wasn't real sure what I was supposed to be doing, but I knew that I was not supposed to be doing what I was doing, or at least in the way that I was doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And, going back, I've been in technology since the early 90s. Started off teaching for B&W and Framatome.
Right.
And then I started out doing some work for some small clients. And then I met my business partner, Rob, in 99. And we spun up Enterprise Technologies Incorporated in 2000.
So more than 20 years.
Yeah, more than 20 years with Rob, more than 30 years in technology.
So you had done it, you had built it up, it had been successful, taking care of lots of people, taking care of lots of companies, taking care of your family, taking care of Rob's family.
That's
so
right.
It was working.
It was.
And it was killing you.
And it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. There were so many great parts to it. Having your own company is tough anyway, but having a technology company is really stressful because you're always being pulled in so many directions. And I'm still in technology now, but it's a different feel. But I truly felt like I was being held hostage.
Yeah, and you continued to be held hostage. Why?
Because I wouldn't break free, even though I knew that it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, so basically it was, not basically, it was fear holding you captive.
It was fear. Fear was the main factor in holding me back. And I think that fear over my everything in life is what controlled the directions that I would go. A lot of it was fear-based, and getting hold of that, it was important to do something drastic and dramatic. And Chuck and I talked about this for years.
A lot.
Yeah, for years. And I kept saying, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this, but couldn't quite get there because I was scared to death of what was going to happen.
Yeah, and you were really good at it, and there were good things happening for it.
Right.
You were taking care of me and my company and lots of other companies
that's right.
well. You continue to have income, and that our brain talks to us and says, don't disturb what's working. Don't change anything because you can work harder, you can work longer, you can do this.
Right.
And it's really difficult to break free from that. But you finally said, enough is enough. And you went from working officially on paper 4.5 days. Essentially, it was probably more, 60 hours a week at least.
Yeah, probably so. Because my Monday through Thursdays were, 10, 12, 13-hour days.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing, too, you were fearful of hurting Rob,
Yeah.
which he was your business partner, but he was also a friend and still is a friend.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to hurt Rob as well. So that was part of the entanglement there as well. But you finally made this decision.
That's right.
And says, I'm going to do this differently. And you didn't break totally free.
No.
You broke free. So it was important to tip a domino and to do something that was different. So you went from officially working 4.5 days to officially working 1.5 days.
Yeah, I sure did. And talking about Rob, I mean, that was a hard decision. Rob is not just my was not just my business partner. I still see him as, my business partner, even though I'm not in the business at the same capacity.
Right.
But we were brothers. I mean, we were great friends. We worked through building something together and taking care of clients together and working through hard times and good times. And that was so very hard for me to do. But pulling back and knowing that I had to get out and breaking free and getting out of 4.5 days down to 1.5 days felt good at the time.
It did.
It was
a big, I remember it was a big release. It was a big weight from you.
It sure was. I decided that 1.5 days at that time was the best decision because I could still keep my foot in the door with Rob.
And help Rob.
Be there to help Rob and show him how much I cared about him, show him how much I cared about the clients, but also be there and keep that relationship together.
And then that worked for how long?
It did. That worked for, I don't know, about 6 or 7 months. And then it was time to break free and make another change.
Yeah, because you again felt the heaviness.
Right.
It was much better, and you knew you were headed in the right direction, but you knew I'm not to be doing 1.5 days. So you tipped the big domino.
Yeah.
Then you knew it was time to tip another domino, and then you tipped that one and then cut back to just 1 day.
Yeah, cut back to just 1 day. So right now I am working with Rob for a day each week. And, that's working really well right now. We're 9.5 months in to doing things very different. But I think it's working well for him, and I know it's working well for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's allowing me to do something different because, I also have a creative mind on top of having an engineering mind, and I'm working a lot more towards the creative side of things. And I think that I've been very blessed in that way, and I'm so thankful that I can do something different and enjoy life in a different way.
Yeah, no longer being handcuffed like you were 4.5 days or 1.5. And now being there 1 day has released you to your creative mind so that you have time, you have energy, you have focus, you have all these creative juices that are flowing. You have so many ideas going now that you wouldn't have had time to formulate them, or B, you certainly wouldn't have had time to carry them out. In the past.
Absolutely.
So letting go, unhandcuffing yourself from this way of life has just totally released you to be in another season, another way. What would you say if, I don't even know if I can even put this into words.
Okay.
The way you feel now, let's pretend that you hadn't tipped either one of these dominoes and you were still working the same way you were.
Right.
What would that be like?
It'd be tough. I would still be in fear. I would still be...
Bondage.
Yeah. And I use that word very carefully because the bondage had nothing to do with my relationship with Rob. My bondage was to...
that way of life.
This way of life and just being weighed down. Once I broke free, the fear has been gone.
Yeah.
I have not had the fear. I have not had as many concerns now as I did in the past. Right. And it gives me an opportunity to go do things with Lisa that I couldn't do before.
Yeah, it would have been impossible for you to live the life that you're living now.
Right.
If you were still doing life the way that you were then.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, if you have any similar things, whether it's you're held hostage to people or whether you're held hostage to circumstances or held hostage to occupational kinds of things, we would love to hear that, or maybe success stories of how you were able to unhinge yourself from that and get your own freedom. We would love to hear those stories as well. Put those in the comments down below.
Yeah, we would love to see that.
Hope you liked our content. If you did, would you please subscribe? Because Keith would really appreciate that.
Yeah, it would make me feel so much better about things. Ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yeah, and share it with your friends.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time. I tell you what, using 3 cameras is very helpful in making these cuts. It's great because you can never tell.
When Kirsten and Chad were here today, we were given the tour of the building. where do you do your videos, your tabletop coffee?
Okay.
So they came down there like, oh, wow.
This is it? Are you kidding? Oh, my goodness. Too funny.